It'll take way more than a weekly review show to slow your senility, boys. But hey, A for effort.
You know, fella, we got smart aleck reporters right here at home.
Any town that could dream up a hoax like this has a sense of humor that I wouldn't try to compete with.
It's hard to say goodbye to yesterday, so let's not. Let's take a look back at the week that was November 10th, 2010.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for the Week in Review, and this is the Week in Review for Wednesday, the 10th of November, 2010. This is our look back at everything that happened on the week of Wednesday the 10th. If you watch Shipshape for this same week, put them two together, you will have a real good handle for what happened on the week of the 10th of November, 2010. This week in shipping, as always, we start off with comic book shipping for the week. This week in shipping, we had the end of Batman Bruce Wayne, Return of Bruce Wayne, number 6 of 6.
I sure did miss him.
Yes, I missed him too. He's back. Oh, look, and he's in a bat costume too.
Wow.
How about that? He's in a bat
Now there's
costume.
only 15 of them.
Anyway, the book ship this week. Last week we had Batman and Robin ship, which of course last week we talked about. The big story was how Bruce Wayne revealed that he's been bankrolling Batman for all these many years. This is the issue where Batman is coming through the time stream and is just about in present day, not quite, but just about. He's pressed up against present day. This is the issue for that. Next week, this coming week that's coming up, will be Batman's actual return and all the wonderment of that. But this is the last issue for this, so be sure to come down and pick it up if you haven't gotten it yet, if you're a big Bat fan. Also this week from DC, Thunder Agents number 1 shipped. This, of course, is about the characters from the Silver Age, 1960s. Wally Wood's characters, Thunder Agents. This is a property that's been floating around for a long time. DC had all sorts of trouble getting the rights to it. They wanted them really bad, though. They finally secured the rights, and now the comic is out. The series is about a bunch of people who get superpowers, which is really cool, by the United Nations. The UN has their own set of superheroes. You got to remember, this is back in the 60s when the UN was like big. It was going to save the world. And they're using that same premise. But they get superpowers, and the superpowers will eventually kill them. And so when Dynamo dies, they'll go out and get a new guy. They'll give him the Dynamo suit, give him the powers. You're the new Dynamo. Go out and have fun until he dies, and so on and so on and so on. Same for Mentor and all the rest of them. I can't think of their names offhand. But new Thunder Agent shipped this week to lukewarm response.
Bo actually made me buy this book.
How'd you like it?
I haven't read it yet.
Have you read it? Okay. Over at the Marvel side.
But he liked it fine.
Big event for Marvel this week was the beginning of Spider-Man Big Time, which of course is being written by Mr. Slott, who's written many Spider-Man books before. No big deal about that. Fine writer, but nothing big about that. Mr. Ramos, though, is doing the art. Humberto Ramos. And while his art is not exactly my cup of tea, there are many folks out there who like his art, including Jeffy behind the camera. And so this is a big deal for a lot of folks. It's first in the big storyline, and be sure to stop down and pick it up if you haven't already, and add it to your collection. Spider-Man also, with this issue, goes back to once every 2 weeks shipping, like they were ever 2 weeks for
without a Spider-Man
for 40 years for 40 years to begin with. Yeah. But Amazing Spider-Man is rolling back from 3 weeks shipping, 3 times a month shipping, to twice a month shipping now, starting with this issue. Also, Marvel had 2 Paloozas this week. They had an Avengers Palooza, where they shipped the new Avengers. They also shipped Avengers Prime. They also shipped Avengers Children's Crusade, which is essentially a Young Avengers book. And they shipped I Am an Avenger. So the big book for the Marvel Universe is, of course, the Avengers now. It used to be the X-Men, now it's the Avengers. Thank you, Brian Michael Bendis, for moving the Avengers up until the #1 spot. The other Palooza they had this week was Thor! We had 4 Thor books shipped this week. Like I've said before, he must have a movie coming out or something. We had Ultimate Thor shipped this week. We had regular plain old Thor shipped this week. We had Thor for Asgard shipped this week. And we had Chaos War Thor special this week.
That's not even all the Thor titles.
That's not all the Thor titles that are in print right now, but that's what shipped this week.
Wow.
4 Thors. So you had 4 Thors, 4 Avengers. 8 of Marvel's books last week involved 2 of their titles. Comics are a wonderful business. And that's it for shipping this week. We're going to cover a little bit of news, comic media industry, and store news. In the comic side, Dale Eaglesham announced that he's taking over the chores on the Incredible Hulk, starting with issue number 623. That will be the Planet Savage storyline that is going to be set in the Savage Land. Hulk will run into Kazar, The Red She-Hulk, Scar, and Korg. This issue goes on sale in January, so look for Dale Eaglesham to take over the art on the Hulk. Of course, that is because Fantastic Four is going to be wrapping up with the 3 storyline, and he will need a job then, so he'll be on the Hulk for a while. Also, Steve Rude. This is a story that I didn't know about until I read it in online this week. Steve Rude's home has been in foreclosure now for the last couple of months, and he was close to losing his house and getting thrown out in the street. He's had an original art auction, though, and that has kept the sheriff at bay. He's been able to catch up on his mortgage and pay the bank based on the stuff that he sold in the art auction. And right now, he has no plans for any monthly comic book work. I don't know if that's because he doesn't want to work for the industry or the industry doesn't want him working for them. But he's doing nothing but commission work, and supposedly right now he is booked solid for at least the next 2 months on nothing but commission work. So, good luck to Steve Rude. I'm glad you got your house out of foreclosure. And for those of you at home who think that what's going on with the economy doesn't affect the comic industry, give Steve Rude a call. He'll be happy to tell you all about that. In media news, we've got 2 stories. The Simpsons has been renewed for its 23rd season. I know you're saying the season just started like a week or 2 ago and has been renewed for its 23rd season. Now, what's important about this is milestone stuff. By the end of the 23rd season next year, they'll have run off 515 episodes of The Simpsons. That will make it number 3 in television history, behind Gunsmoke, which had 635 episodes, so it's still king of the hill, and Lassie, which had 588 episodes. So at the end of next year, Simpsons will be the 3rd longest running TV show of all time, which also means next year the 500th episode of The Simpsons will be airing on Fox. So at some point you're going to have a big 500th episode extravaganza of The Simpsons. So that's coming up next year on everybody's favorite family from Springfield. Also, we've talked a lot in media news about the Green Hornet movie and about how it's, probably going to be, stinky. Maybe not. They did a test screening of the Green Hornet, and it got a 93% positive response by those in the attendance this past week. And it got an 83% mark for people who said that they would recommend this to someone else to see, which are really high numbers for just about any film. So this may not be a case of Green Hornet being buried in January. This may be a case of the Green Hornet coming out in January to avoid the Christmas rush, and it would have the whole of January to itself. And if it is a good film, and if it turns out to be a blockbuster, it could be the smartest move in the world for them. I'm still going to wait to see what the reviews say, but 93% positive review notes on the film from the audience, that's not a bad sample for the film. A couple of notes of industry news. Wizard purchased Mid-Ohio-Con. Now, for those of you who don't live in Ohio, this probably doesn't mean anything to you, but Mid-Ohio-Con is the 2nd oldest comic book convention out there that still wasn't bought up by anybody. The Chicago Comic-Con was the oldest previous to this that was bought up by Wizard. Now Mid-Ohio-Con was the oldest. Now it's the 2nd oldest, but it's been bought by Wizard. The first show by Wizard will be held in October 22nd and 23rd in Columbus, Ohio in 2011. And the Big Apple Con, the con in Winnipeg, and the New Orleans cons are other recent purchases by Wizard. So Wizard is consolidating all the comic book conventions under its umbrella.
But they stopped calling it Wizard, didn't they?
I think they're calling it...
It's like Wizard Presents or something.
Prevents, yes. Wizard Prevents Entertainment. No, I think it's going to be called. They're probably going to keep Mid-Ohio-Con in the name there somewhere, just like they kept Comic-Con in the name for Wizard World Comic-Con. It'll probably be in there someplace. Yeah. But so Wizard now owns the Mid-Ohio-Con. The other thing was Walmart and Target have gone to war. Oh, I know it doesn't look like it, but there's a price war. There's a price war going on for Christmas toys right now going on at Walmart. Target cut its prices last week on all of its toys, and Walmart responded with a price cut of their own. Walmart has also put together a 52-page toy circular for all of its toys. Earlier in the year, Walmart cut back on its toy selection because it had way too many toys that weren't moving. So it was a big story that Walmart cut back on toys. They're going full steam ahead, brakes off, down the hill, heading towards Christmas release of as many toys as they can shove down your throat. Also, this Christmas, Barnes & Noble is experimenting in 5 of their stores with doing a mega toy boutique. So if you go to a Barnes & Noble, there's only 5 of them. They're experimenting with them now for the Christmas season. But if this is a big seller, you could see toys in Barnes & Noble sometime next year in 2011. Finally, we've got 2 stories on the store. Shane Douglas, wrestler, appeared at the store, as I've been talking about for weeks and weeks, at the store this past Saturday, the 13th of November. Shane was here from 1 to 3. Shane is a really great guy. I went out to dinner with him the night before because he came in early with his flight. He's a really great guy. He's got a little boy at home who's the same age as my daughter. I know I don't talk much about personal stuff here. He's the same age as my daughter. Kid's got straight A's. Oh, comic book girl! But his son's got straight A's, and Shane is really, really a nice guy. He was down here, and everybody who came down had a good time. Also, the last thing I want to mention is our own little Sarah the Thrall was officially christened the biggest geek on the south side of Chicago.
15 minutes coming right up.
Her 15 minutes are coming right up. She's knocked off about a minute and a half of her 15-minute, lifetime 15 minutes right here. She was interviewed in the Southtown Star, Southtown Economist, whatever they're calling the newspaper now. Southtown Star Economist, or whatever it is, about Harry Potter. The Harry Potter film, of course, opens up this week, our time. And Sarah, right here, was interviewed for it, and they took her picture, and they mentioned the store, and that's always nice. So congratulations to Sarah for getting in the newspaper. Good job!
In a good way.
In a good way. In a good way. In a good
Not
way.
a laying in the gutter bleeding in a coma.
Don't want to see you in the police blotter. So that's it. We're done with...
Only one picture, not from the side.
Yeah, from this. Yes, like this. Like this.
That's usually how we get in the newspaper.
But anyway, that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. That's done it for Week in Review. Go to the store's website, though, to see more Week in Reviews. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man saying bye. Hey, you want to save 20% off of everything in the store? Then show up on the 20th of every month, because the 20th is Founders Day here at Alternate Reality. And on Founders Day, everything except this week's new comics and bulk supplies is 20% off. That's right, every single thing in the store is 20% off every 20th here at Alternate Reality. Alternate Reality is located at 3149 West 111th Street. That's the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in Chicago, the beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood neighborhood. You can always reach us at 773-881-HERO or at the store's website, www.myalternatereality.com.